Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA Front Office Show. It's Friday. You know what that means.
Front Office Friday! Half at Summer League edition.
Let's go. Half of us are here in Summer League. I am here in Las Vegas. Keith, still in Orlando right now, but not for much longer because you are headed our way very, very soon.
Yes. First thing tomorrow morning, I'll be in about lunchtime, Vegas area, and ready to hand out some hugs in the concourse tomorrow afternoon.
I've already given out some stickers.
Nice.
I've handed out some stickers and met some people. Had a good time. Had a good time here and enjoying it out here. But can't wait for you to get out here as well. And we're gonna have to do some stuff for the Front Office Show while we are together in the same spot. A rare occurrence. We'll have to make sure we do some stuff from here
for as brief of time that we will both be there.
We are just about ships passing in the night. I'm going to be leaving like hours after you arrive, but we will figure something out. We'll make it happen.
No doubt. Yeah. We'll try to maybe be at the arena at the same time tomorrow for at least some of the day. That way we can, maybe meet some people in that, but watch our socials. We'll let you know, when we're around and all that good stuff.
All right, everybody. We're happy to have you here. If you're coming in from YouTube or either one of our X accounts, happy to have you here talking some hoops. We're going to talk NBA basketball. So throw in your questions, your comments, and we're going to get into all of the different stuff happening around the league. Keith, we did have a couple of deals come down. We did see. I guess you want to start with Devin Booker. No surprise, but what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, like you said, no surprise. This is the Suns putting together or putting it fully in that they are retooling this roster around Devin Booker. They are going to rebuild this team around him. Kevin Durant is gone. Bradley Beal sounds like sometime this week will be, if not this week, we're almost at the end of the week, but maybe tomorrow. So it'll be, that will happen as well. So that should be coming down the pipe as well. So we're in a spot where with the Suns, it's all about Devin Booker. I don't know that that's going to be a great value deal by the time it ends, but this is kind of where you're at.
Is this the right decision? I keep coming back to this, Keith, and I just can't shake the feeling that that Devin Booker, he's great. And I gained so much respect for Devin Booker's defensive game with Team USA last summer. I thought he really made strides there and showed that he's got another level he can get to when he doesn't have to bear so much of the burden of the offensive end. But I just look at him and I don't know that is he really your 1A, we're going to build everything, go all in around this guy type player, or is he at his best really like the second guy on a team and then you feel really good about it? And I tend to think it's the latter. And if that's the case, the Suns might be making a little bit of a mistake here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is from the Suns side, you're taking care of your guy, but we'll see. I mean, they tried it with KD, never really got there. They tried it, adding Beal to that mix. That didn't get them over the top. So we'll see, where this ultimately lands for Phoenix. It feels like after the Beal move, they're going to be out from underneath, or I guess they'll be underneath the second apron. And then I think from there, what we'll see is where do they kind of go? What comes next for Phoenix? Because there's other trades to be made. Again, we've called it up before, but that cap sheet is still pretty heavy in shooting guards and small forwards. You're going to have to make some other moves there, and I think that's they're not going to be done. They're going to get into a place where they do a little bit more here.
Right, exactly. There, I think there's more to come here for Phoenix as well. What about? I guess let's jump over on to the Herb Jones contract extension.
Yeah,
3 years, $68 million extension. Now he's recovering from an injury or been recovering from an injury, so there's obviously that concern there, but I like Herb Jones a lot. I mean, his defensive game is so phenomenal. I think there's a good, like we look at the Devin Booker trade and we say, or deal, and we say, well, maybe this won't be a great value contract. I think if Herb Jones is the guy that we think he can be, and the big if is he could stay healthy, I think as the cap continues to go up, this could wind up being looked at as a value contract here into the future.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, by the time we get to these out years, even as it our projection now, just in case anybody's wondering on Spot Track, is 7% cap growth for 26, 27, then 5% for the years all the way out. From there, we're being very conservative with that projection. If it comes in higher, great, right? Rising tide lifts all boats. Everybody will be better. But in that case, that means Herb Jones, unlike some of the deals when we've looked at him before, where it's been, oh man, the cap growth outpaces the contract growth. Well, this will flip the other way, but never gets much past 12.5% of the cap. That's a perfectly fine value for a guy as good as Herb Jones. This will be kind of Emily plus, I guess, is the best way to put this. And I think that's fine. I think Herb Jones is arguably the best defensive wing in the league. When he's healthy, he is a much improved offensive player. This team does not have a lot defensively. Even their young core guys coming in are not very good defensively. So I think they're going to be in a really good place moving forward.
Yeah, agreed. And so this is, I've been fairly critical of the Pelicans offseason so far. I think they've made some mistakes with what they've done, but in my opinion, I do like this. I think this is a good bit of business for New Orleans. So I dig that. All right, let's
hold on. People are asking, like, Reeves getting the same deal? No, he's going to get significantly more.
Because they have essentially the same contract now, with the exception of the player option at the end. But yeah, I think he's going to get more than that.
Yeah. I'm assuming this is supposed to be, why did Keith not go to Summer League? I'll be there tomorrow. I just haven't gotten in yet. I leave first thing tomorrow morning.
He'll be here. Speaking of which, let me just say, I haven't really talked about it much yet, but the building was buzzing last night for Cooper Flag and Bronny James, and they put on, that was quite a show. The energy level definitely dulled in the third quarter and then into the fourth, but then it got exciting again at the end. But to start that game, boy, that crowd was fired up for that game. It was a lot of fun, and just the energy in the building was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool watching Bronny kind of take him on a couple times and be perfectly fine defensively. That's, if Bronny James is going to see time, it's going to be because of his defense. We know that. That's how he's going to get himself onto the floor. The rest we'll see, where that goes. I think it is in a position with Cooper Flag. I thought his athleticism popped. You could see it. There was twice he caught the ball at midcourt, kind of on the run in transition, and beat everybody, guards included, for the Lakers and the Mavericks down the floor for dunks or plays at the rim. Just you see him, the things he does are really, really special. The jumper was off. It kind of is what it is. Thought he was funny after. He's like, it was the worst game I've ever played in my life. And, and that comes with the expectations with that. So, from there, but yeah, I mean, really fun game last night. I'm very, very much hoping tomorrow that Dylan Harper is able to go. Because then we'll get to see Flag versus Harper. That should be really fun. So let's see, if he's able to play. Dylan Harper's recovering from a little bit of a sore groin, so hopefully he'll be able to go. But if not, at least we'll get one more Cooper Flag game in Las Vegas.
I agree. First of all, I hope Harper can go. It was a bit of a dud there for the NBA last night with Harper not playing and Edgecombe not playing. In the follow-up game. It was funny. They even, in the arena, they even said they called it something like the main event or something like that when it was for the Lakers Mavs game. And I'm like, there's another game after this. How do those players feel right now? But yeah, I think that Bronny was great defensively, did some really good things there, looked very, very comfortable, looked very confident. And Cooper Flag, it reminded me, Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Wemby shoot terribly in his first game of Summer League? And then he was great the next game. That's my prediction, is that Cooper Flag is going to go like 10 for 13 or something like that next game, on tomorrow's game. He's not, you could see it. He had an off shooting night. That's not what he's going to be every night.
I think with college players, you have to remember a lot of the college guys have not played an actual competitive game in months. And that's, for some of them, it's been since the middle of March. So we're going on almost 4 months since some of those guys have played, which is probably, honestly, the longest period of their lives that they haven't played actual competitive games as they worked through themselves for the draft period. And then with international players, often what happens with those guys is they play right up until summer league starts. Some guys even get held out. Like with Wemby, he showed up after having played right before, and you could tell he was exhausted. And then he looked a little bit better in his second game, and then obviously was fine from there. That's just don't read too much into summer league one way or the other. More, I am always looking for the guys show up athletically. Do they look like they can hang physically? If they can, all right, all the rest will come. Well, we'll see what comes from there. But for now, it's mostly about how do they look physically.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let me get into some of our questions, comments. This is a very interactive show, so we do want to get into some of the stuff you guys are throwing out there. Sean said, why hasn't the Ty Jerome signing been made official? And neither is the Jaren Jackson Jr. extension. So why are we waiting on some things to actually go official here?
Yeah, Grizzlies are still trying to clear the cap space to make the room to do the renegotiation and extension for Jaren Jackson Jr. They've got to get off at least one more contract. Cole Anthony was the buzz early, but everything else is really in a holding pattern for them right now, and they will eventually get those deals done. They're all agreed to. They're going to get there. It's just you have to get out of the position where you're under, or get yourself to the position where you're under the cap. They haven't figured that out with whether that's Cole Anthony through a buyout, through a salary dump, moving John Conchar. They're getting close, but it's not done yet. So we'll see where that kind of lands.
All right, let's go here. How often do y'all hang out?
Not often enough.
Not often enough. That's for sure. Every once in a while, I'll be in your neck of the woods. Last time I was there for like 3 hours or something.
Yeah. We had enough time to grab lunch and record a quick video.
Right. We recorded, and that was around Christmas time, I think, at Disney Springs. But you're never really in my neck of the woods. So usually it takes, a family vacation to Orlando or something like that for us to be in the same spot. Or it takes like this summer league, which will be in the same place tomorrow. So we'll try to throw something out there tomorrow from summer league. But yeah, we're very rarely in the same place at the same time. But Keith, I do spend more time with you than anyone not in my family. You know what I mean?
I said that to my wife yesterday. I said, I think other than her and my daughter, I talk to you more than anyone else in my life.
That's right.
I don't even think it's close at this point.
Exactly. So that's where it's at with the front office show. I wish we were in person more often, but hey, if the show really takes off, then we'll start pumping the money in, and we'll start making trips and do in-person shows. We'll get in a studio. We'll do all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Big fancy studio. And we'll invite people to come watch and hang out and all kinds of stuff.
And on that note, super chats are very welcome, by the way, everybody.
Yes, please.
Michael C. does have a super chat here. We got a few others we're going to get to. Said, Front Office Friday, the La Drama never ends, the Lakers edition. So Daniel Starkand and Daniel popped over because he's here with me for Lakers Nation, popped over and we did a little kind of mini podcast on the ESPN article that went out earlier today on LeBron. Keith, I talked about it at length already, but what's your opinion on all the things that are happening with LeBron and the Lakers right now?
Yeah, I thought there were some interesting nuggets in that article. That's what Ramona Shelburne and Brian Windhorst do maybe better than anybody. They really do so well with digging out details and then sharing them in their storytelling and crafting it into a story as well, which is a real skill for a writer to have. I thought the one that really jumped out to me was, which I don't think had been reported anywhere, about Luka got the heads up on the sale and LeBron did not. And that kind of tells you all you need to know. I mean, we know they're building around Luka. That makes sense. He's the much younger player. He's the future of the franchise. But yeah, I thought it was that was interesting that there wasn't even a cursory, hey, heads up, this is gonna come out here and we're selling the team. And that just shows LeBron is at most a Laker probably for the rest of the season. And then we'll see what happens from there. Making a trade for LeBron is really hard. I messed around just like everybody else does. I was playing around on trade machines and looking for trades and everything else. And I know there's all the Cleveland stuff but that's Cleveland stuff. I think gets a little overblown. He always goes home every year.
Sure.
At some point.
But he knew what he was doing there too.
Oh, 100%. I think it even said it in the article, which we all know. Nothing is a coincidence with LeBron James. When he is tweeting, sharing videos, putting stuff out there, it is all very much calculated. There's reasons behind all of it. I'm sure if all things were equal and he had his say and he was leaving the Lakers, it'd probably be Cleveland where he would want to go. I just don't know that that's going to be how it plays out, but we'll see, what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This feels like this is going to be a story now for the next few months at least, and maybe all the way up to the trade deadline.
I still think the most likely scenario is LeBron stays with the Lakers, but I think it is far more likely now than it used to be. I'm not saying it's likely.
Yes.
I'm saying it's more likely now than it used to be that LeBron does not finish his career with the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's, I mean, that could be huge, for a lot of different reasons. Where he could potentially go. Does he leave in free agency? Does he leave via trade? What does this ultimately look like? Like, this is going to be a big thing until it's not. Until we hear specifically, no, I'm not leaving. I'm staying here. I want to hear until we hear something like that. This is his future with the Lakers is more in question than we have ever seen it before. And it's going to be fascinating to see how all of this plays out. And I got to say, that's not. I understand the Lakers side, why they would be pivoting towards Luka. I understand LeBron too, if he's looking there going, hey, what am I, chopped liver? Like, come on, I've done some great things for this organization too. It's a complicated situation with I think some very clear motivations on all sides. And Keith, I still come back to ultimately, Luka's got to want to win too. The Venn diagram has got to have enough of a crossover between what Luka wants, what LeBron wants, what the Lakers want. There's got to be enough of a middle ground there. But the tough part is finding the deal that fits right into that space. And that's going to be the difficult part for the Lakers, for Rob Pelinka to figure out. But yeah, again, I think we've reached a point where we can say it is now more likely than ever before that LeBron James will not finish his career with the Lakers. I think it's likely that he will, but it's more likely than it's ever been that he does not finish it with the Lakers, which is absolutely crazy. Wouldn't have thought even just a few months ago that this is where we'd be right now.
Yeah, I figured before he opted in this year, I figured we were just going to keep doing 1+1 for the next however long he wanted to play. And then he'd retire and that would be it. And all that. So we're going to keep an eye on this one. Giannis comments about
what do you think about that?
I think we'll see. I thought it was interesting. We also said he lives in Florida now, which I didn't even know was a thing. I didn't know that he lived here in the off season. So who knows with that? But it's and he talked about hey, LA and New York and all those other places are really expensive to live. Somehow I think he could pull it off. I mean, he's only got hundreds of millions of dollars. I think he might be okay. But I don't know. Maybe Giannis is a very famously frugal. Let's put it that way. That he likes to, he has his money. He likes to keep it. So we'll see, how that all kind of comes together ultimately. But I feel like we're not done talking about these guys, and these are going to be our Damian Lillard, James Harden stories that we probably talk about throughout the summer until, like you said, either something happens or somebody fully says, no, I'm here. Yep. I'm not going anywhere. Done. And even then it'll be like, for now, right? It never is all right, well, that story's over. Everybody move on.
For our sake, selfishly, can we have like significant movement on those fronts? I don't know, like last week of July and middle of August.
A little later than that.
Like that.
Beginning of August when my vacation is over.
Sure, beginning of August, yes.
Right, because I'm cramming in a vacation in between the end of summer league and the start of school here at the beginning of August. So that's I just need that last part of July free, and then perfect. August we can get back to it.
August, let's do it. So I will message LeBron. I'll shoot him the text, and I'll say, dude, chill on this stuff for a few weeks. Wait till Keith gets back in town. He'll be good with that. He'll be good with that.
I don't know, begin to know how to say the name, but shout out from Romania. You guys are international. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it. Let's go. Romania, Transylvania, right? It's where Transylvania actually is in Romania, I believe.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. So yeah, somebody asked too before, like, what was so important that I didn't go to Vegas for Cooper Flag. I'm going to be out there for 8 days starting tomorrow.
That's a long time.
And that's a lot of Las Vegas. So I am really excited to be there. I'm going out for Sports Business Classroom. We officially get kicked off on the 13th in the evening. Can't wait to see everybody. I don't know if anybody's watching that's going to be there right now, but I'm super excited to meet everybody. I've already interacted with so many of the students we're going to have. I'm super psyched for that time period, but that's why I do love my family and wanted to spend at least a little portion of the summertime with them.
You will be out here in total much longer than I am. I'm going back Sunday. I went out a little bit, and by went out, I mean just went and hung out for a little while at a bar, just hanging out, and I'm feeling, I'm like, oh my God, I'm old. If you're in Vegas for that long, oh boy, man, you're gonna be exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah. And then I come home for literally 2 days to do laundry, repack, and then we're jumping in the car for a cross country road trip. So it'll be it'll be good times. If anybody's in Louisiana, New Orleans, want to say hi, let me know, and I will go from there. Yeah, Trevor's the hardest working guy in this game.
I've watched 3 straight videos with Trevor in it, all recorded today. Busy man. Well, let me just tell you, there's more coming later today. Just telling you that.
You're that guy. That's a tease right there.
That's right.
Not on this channel, on the Lakers Nation channel.
Right. Yeah, we'll have more coming. Yeah. More coming.
Eric Pincus is one of the people who runs SBC. A lot of people know he covers the Lakers, or did cover the Lakers. Now he covers the league as a whole. But Eric is a big part of running SBC, making sure everything runs. It'll be then myself, Yossi Goslan are joining Bobby Marks to do a lot of the salary cap stuff, which I'm really fired up about.
All right, we got Felipe said LeBron to the Warriors, Kuminga to Utah, and Markkanen to the Lakers. Get it done. Rob, like if the Warriors are going to get involved in the LeBron talk, Jonathan Kuminga, him still being a restricted free agent, still dangling out there, maybe that somehow gets roped into all of it. But I really tend to think that restricted free agency is just, on top of restricted free agency being brutal, usually we've got such a tough market in terms of the cap space that's out there.
Yeah.
The teams are not in any rush to get deals done that they don't consider to be favorable. When we look at Josh Giddey, you look at Jonathan Kuminga. And so I don't think necessarily Kuminga still being out there is any kind of a sign that something is happening there with the Lakers or anything like that.
I do think Kuminga still being out there is holding up the Warriors' other stuff.
Yes. We talk about Melton and Al Horford.
Yeah. Where I think it's just a matter of how much do we have to offer these guys as they put it together. So that's going to be the interesting part of that. So, but yeah, it is really, kind of messy. I would say this is a good question. Can Utah get in some restricted free agent market? They could, but they are over the cap, and they chose to stay over the cap. They're not going to go under the cap. They have a massive trade exception for John Collins. So the way they just cap nerd stuff, the way they structured that trade, which was really smart by them, they took Kyle Anderson into the non-taxpayer mid-level, which they weren't going to use to sign anybody. And then they brought in Kevin Love into the biannual exception. Now that means they lose it next year, but they are very likely to be well under the cap next year. So that means they would have lost it anyway. And that allowed them to create a $26 million trade exception for John Collins as the outgoing in that 3-team trade where he went to the Clippers. So really good work by them there. That's how they would get more involved, would be in a sign-in trade through restricted free agency. The Nets are the other team that's still sitting on a bunch of cap space. They've got somewhere between like 23 and 28 million in cap space that they're sitting on right now. So a lot of stuff that the Nets could still do in free agency. So really just in a very interesting spot here.
There we go.
There we go. Isaiah Jackson.
Do you want to play the drop?
Yeah,
big enough?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to play it enough this year.
We haven't.
Isaiah Jackson back to the Pacers, 3-year, $21 million deal. So pretty good value deal for the Pacers to get Isaiah Jackson in as they attempt to rebuild their center rotation with Miles Turner out. So I think they're in a pretty interesting spot there.
I think so. That is, the Pacers are rumored to be kind of doing a center by committee type thing this coming year out of necessity. That's kind of where we're at. What do you think about that plan? Is that Is that just a stopgap because there's nobody else out there on the market,
No.
or could this like really work? Like you very rarely see teams say we're going to play center by committee.
Yeah, I think this is making the best of a bad situation.
Yeah.
You're piecing it together. Jay Huff gives you, I think Jay Huff will be the guy who gets the most minutes when all is said and done there, and I think plays the best for them. So I think they will play really, really well for. I think Jay Huff will play really, really well for the Pacers. But yeah, Isaiah Jackson is a player they loved last year. Same with James Wiseman, who they re-signed. They really like both of those guys. Within like a week of each other, they both tore Achilles. So they'll be both coming back in. They have Tony Bradley, who saw really important minutes for them throughout the playoff run, coming back as well. So there's your kind of 4-man center crew, and you're going to figure it out night by night with those guys. But I think it'll be really kind of interesting with that one.
Running back by committee is a thing in the NFL, and it can work out just fine, especially because you can have fresher legs on the field more often, and it's annoying for fantasy football, but something that can really work. I don't know about center by committee. I want to see. I think the minutes will ultimately, like you said, shift towards one player or another. Whether or not that's Jay Huff, I think it very well could be. But it'll be interesting to see how Indiana really handles that when push comes to shove.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, they've got they definitely got some more work to be done there, and we'll see kind of how it all comes together.
All right,
couple
let's
people
go.
have asked about Superman. That's not even remotely on my. I don't even know if I'll be able to see it in theaters.
Yeah,
there's no time.
It's such a crazy time of year.
Yeah. It'll be. Yeah, I'll probably watch it when it comes out on Max. That'll be how that'll go down. I will make time to go see Fantastic Four. Somebody else asked too, I think about what I thought of Ironheart. I've not seen it. I have Ironheart on my iPad, and that is going to be what I watch on the plane. I've got Ironheart all queued up.
I was planning to do the same thing, and I wound up just basically falling in and out of consciousness the entire flight because I was so exhausted. I think I slept for like slightly over 2 hours, just under 3, something like that. And so I was just exhausted. Keith, there's the Bronny interview. I'm like off to the side in it after last night's game. You could just see it in my eyes. I'm just like a zombie.
You look a little tired today. I wasn't going to say anything, but
I talked to Daniel Starkand, and I go, Daniel, should I go, we've got the Summer League backdrop here. What if I do a little stand up here, right in front of the Summer League backdrop? He goes, let's wait till Saturday. I go, why do you want to wait? I go, why wait till Saturday's game? He says, because you look really, really, really tired. I'm like, that's fair. I am. So that makes sense. But I will watch Ironheart on the flight back.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to dive in. I know I've got a pretty good amount of time in the air plus time on a layover briefly in the middle of the day. So it'll be here. More to come on this. Let's just say the later this summer before next season. More to come on this one. So
let's go. Lakers Zombie said, I think Luka and Trevor have the same workout routine and goals for the summer. Indeed. I've got a vacation planned at the beginning of September. That's going to require, so some bathing suit wear there. So I am definitely going to be working on rounding back into shape here as much as I can. All right, let's get back to some of our super
more questions.
Yeah, we got more to get through here. Is it worth reading into what Ramona and Wendy said this morning about Bron? We kind of already discussed this.
Yeah,
but I mean, I thought there were a few interesting things in there. There was the bit about Luka. Well, Windhorst had this, that Luka might not sign his contract extension until after Eurobasket, which was surprising to me. Most players want to get it done before they go play for their national teams due to injury concerns. But in general, worth reading into. I mean, look, they're plugged in reporters and everything, and there's buzz here. Was there a ton in there that was new and shocking? Not necessarily, but there were a few things that at least tells you that this is not going away. This is not like everything's been smoothed over and it's all good. Like, we don't have a final decision here, but that's not because everything is fine and it's all rosy in Los Angeles now between LeBron and the Lakers. Clearly, there's something going on here, and easy to see why on all sides in this.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we're just in a position where it's going to be, it's going to take them some time to sort through and figure all this out. I mean, that's the reality of the situation right now for LeBron and the Lakers. And somebody else, there's another one. I don't know if you want to grab it. Somebody asked, should LeBron do a buyout? I mean, yeah, if he wants complete freedom where he wants to go, sure, but I just don't. I don't know that he's gonna do that. I don't know that we're at that point yet. And if I'm the Lakers, I would much rather trade him than work a buyout because I don't want to lose him for nothing effectively.
Yeah. If he were to walk next summer, they could at least say, well, they have cap flex. And
Exactly.
There have been LeBron haters all summer long who have been saying LeBron should just leave in free agency. The Lakers would be better off and all that. No, it doesn't really open up any flexibility for them to do anything this summer. Next summer, they would actually have a little bit more flexibility to play with out there on the market. Not that you're going to get a LeBron level player, but at least there's that benefit. Right now, buying out LeBron James would provide zero benefit for the Lakers. So if I'm them, that's a non-starter from the Lakers position here, because unless they're just really trying to do LeBron a solid, it does nothing to improve anything for the Lakers. They would rather try to find a trade, see if they can get something back that could be a long-term fit with Luka, and then go from there. Now, if he wants to go join another team and wants to just sign a contract in free agency, he could have opted out. He didn't have to pick up his player option, or he can wait till next summer and then hit free agency at that point if he decides he wants to play multiple seasons.
Yeah, exactly. And just to be clear, because I think people got a little tripped up on the buyout rules, it is true that teams that are above the first or second apron can't sign players who made more than the non-taxpayer mid-level in the buyout market. But that's a regular season rule. So that starts day one of when the regular season opens. In the offseason, it's fine. That's why like Damian Lillard could go anywhere. Bradley Beal can go anywhere. Right now, say it would be the same thing with LeBron, that those guys would be available to go anywhere with that. So we'll see where that all kind of goes.
All right, let's go here. How do you feel about a Patrick Williams for Rui swap? Again, we've talked enough Lakers, but on the Patrick Williams side, the reporting right now has been that there's the Bulls have been looking to trade him, but there's really no market out there for him. Does that, to me, that's not a surprise. The contract, I think, is the issue.
That was a contract that he was given with the hopes that he would grow into it. Yeah. And it just hasn't happened. And maybe I think the best thing for Patrick Williams would be a fresh start somewhere else where he would have a chance. Here's the problem. If you're the Lakers, if you're trying to prioritize flexibility as soon as next summer, but at least in the summer after, you don't want that $18 million on your books. Like exactly. That's the reality. Plus, I mean, right now you're also trying to win, and Rui Hachimura is a pretty good margin, better than Patrick Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. All right. Johnny Tess said, hey guys, happy front office Friday. Just wondering if Portland's got any more moves coming. Saw potentially Corey Kispert.
I hadn't seen a Corey Kispert rumor myself, but I mean, Portland seems to be pretty quiet at the moment. They are, they did the Holiday by Anthony Simons trade, and then they did their big move to get Hansen Yang, and we'll see where it goes from there. So, but I mean, for now, I think they're kind of hanging out a little bit. I don't know that we're going to see much more out of Portland off season. Maybe in season when we get there. It wouldn't shock me if Robert Williams is traded or Matisse Thybulle gets moved, but I think they're going to kind of hang in there a little bit.
Yeah, agreed. I think they would move Jeremy Grant if they can. I don't know that there's much of a market there, but they should continue to look at Robert Williams, see if they can get something there. And then other than that, just continue moving forward. What do you think are the top 2 or 3 gettable 3-and-D players the Lakers can get in a trade? I mean, most 3-and-D guys are inherently not gettable because so many teams want players like that. Those are very, very difficult to find, particularly if we're talking about wings. So I don't know, like, who's realistically out there that's gettable, and it depends on what you want to give up. Like, is Andrew Wiggins available? Maybe, but you're probably gonna have to give up more than you're comfortable with, and that's going to be the case for most of the players that are out there. So I hesitate to even use the word gettable for anybody who would fit that kind of 3-and-D, particularly on the wing archetype.
One's on the screen. I think Matisse Thybulle
Yeah.
could be. That and he has shot it pretty well in Portland.
He has.
So
I like him a
maybe
lot.
that could be a guy for them because the contract's also pretty reasonable and it's an expiring deal, so it doesn't mess anything up as far as your long-term plans. But that's, I think, with the Lakers, now everything has to be couched in. If they're taking on long-term money, the guy better be really, really good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's going to be, nope, we want short-term deals, and that's it from them.
All right, let's go. A couple things about DeAnthony Melton. A couple of comments here.
Yeah.
Don't get why Melton would go back to Golden State after they traded him. Well, they traded him when it was clear that the season was over for him. They weren't trading him like, hey, we don't like this guy. He could not help the team. He still got his money. It's not like this was DeAnthony Melton was angry at the Warriors. They traded his contract.
Yep.
And that's it. That was all that it was, an expiring contract. He wasn't going to play regardless of what team had his contract. He wasn't going to be playing for that team anyway. It wasn't like they sent him away or anything like that.
Yeah, if anybody's wondering why I keep turning my head, I'm watching the Celtics out of the corner of my eye. Summer League, the Hugo Gonzalez era has begun in Boston.
Oh boy,
yeah. We weren't sure he was even going to play because he was another one of those Euros who played deep, but here he is. He's out here. So yeah, so
great to see it.
Yeah, that's where it is with DeAnthony Melton. He's not taking anything off the table.
No. Ellie said, question about Marvel and NBA. Oh, right in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, I know, right? That's why I flagged it.
Like Hero Ball and Game of Zones, what about a Marvel version of NBA? Any names and who would be on it? LeBron would be Captain America or Iron Man. SGA. Oh, okay.
SGA would be like Mr. Fantastic because he's all like stretchy
and
slithery. Maybe that would be Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't that be Wemby?
So crazy, but yeah, the main reason I flagged this was they did this. Remember, they did one of those alt casts, where it was like everybody was a Marvel player and you could see them running around. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that again down the line. They did that one where, gosh, what were they during was it Simpsons during the Christmas game? I think they were
maybe it was. I don't remember.
Were they the Simpsons? It was something like that. So but yeah, we'll see. It's just fun. I mean, I'd watch it. I think it would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool if somebody more creative than us could make something like that.
Yeah, without a doubt. I miss Game of Thrones.
That was good. Mm-hmm. Can the Lakers still sign Darius Baisley as a two-way player? Dixon has a foot injury. Yeah, Eric Dixon rolled past us yesterday on a scooter. Has some type of foot injury. And can they sign Baisley as a two-way player? I don't think Darius Baisley is still two-way eligible.
Yeah, he's not eligible. That's why I flagged it. He's not eligible for a two-way. So, yeah, that's the bummer here with that. Speaking of Hugo, I really like that contract. It's opposite of Thoreau. They're not comparable. Hugo Gonzalez is on a first-round rookie scale deal. So you're basically locked in to what you're going to pay him. Somebody else asked if he can shoot. That's going to be the swing skill for him. Super athletic, pretty good with the ball in his hands, but the jump shot is a work in progress. But we'll see. I think he'll eventually get there. I think he's going to see actual minutes this year because the Celtics roster is screaming for anybody who's like athletic and can play even as a small ball four right now. So we'll see with that. So
and if he hits, they were going to need to decline his fourth-year team option anyway and make him a restricted free agent and then pay him like if he really hits, like the Nuggets did with Jokic years ago. Yeah, right. Not saying he's in anywhere expected to be in that class, obviously, right? But that type of contract, it could wind up being nothing. That he doesn't have a fourth-year deal, and it does create maybe a little bit more flexibility. You got him on maybe a little bit of a cheaper contract, things like that. But again, maybe something, maybe nothing.
There's I'll pull this one up. Wolves haven't announced Nas and Randall deals yet. Yeah, they don't assume anything's really going on there. They're doing a big thing today with A-Rod and Mark Laurie are essentially being introduced as the Wolves owners. I know that's been finalized for a while now, but they're doing a thing on it, or it may have already happened. Actually, I think it was at 3. It was on there. So yeah, so we'll see. Where that kind of kind of goes with those two guys, but they'll both get done. Imagine it was, let's roll those guys out and let them have the spotlight for a day, and then we'll get these 2 deals signed.
You know, I find this so often, like everybody's looking for those big, they like for some type of breadcrumb that tells you like, oh my God, did you see this guy follow that guy
Yeah.
on Instagram and everything? And most of the time it's nothing. Assume it's nothing until it's something. And the vast majority of the time, it really doesn't mean anything. We're looking into stuff like, oh, but this hasn't been announced yet. Maybe they're really sending a message. No, they're probably not. It could be something simply logistics. It could be timing, whatever it is. It doesn't mean a lot of people are looking for, this is a sign that there's a secret 3-team sign and trade in the works behind the scenes right now. And they're looking for that type of stuff. It's just very, very rarely that it's anything like that.
Yeah. It's more often we wanted the guy's going to be in Vegas and wants to do it in person, or who knows, I wouldn't assume that there's anything happening.
That said, one of the great things about this league is how many times they do surprise us. The things do come from out of nowhere and shock us. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the great things about the NBA, and part of the reason why people look for those things. But yes, sometimes
these ones being re-signings are pretty straightforward.
It's not
right. If they were going to another team, then you could, all right, maybe they're trying to make it into a multi-team sign and trade or something or whatever, but straight re-signings, it'll get done when it gets done.
Right.
Yeah, that's the reality on it.
All right. We'll go here. Vacation Wellness Partner said, can you explain on Lillard's stretch, if he signs with another team, does the salary offset or set off? Or if Dame makes $6 million with one team and $22 million from the Bucks on the stretch, does he actually get $28 million?
So the answer is kind of, sort of.
Yes and no.
Yeah, the CBA has a provision. It should be called offset, but it's called set off for whatever reason. Where essentially you take whatever his new salary is, you take the minimum salary out of that, and then you give the other team relief of half of whatever is left over. So in this case, you'd be like somewhere between 1.5 and $2 million. Like, it's not that much. It doesn't even apply until the season is over. In this case, so the Bucks would get the relief on the next couple of years of the contract, but after this season is over, so they don't get anything. And then Damian Lillard, he's going to make his 22.5 minus a little bit, and that's if he even agreed to set off in the waive and stretch. Sometimes players don't put that in there. It's kind of hit or miss whether they do or don't with that, but that's kind of where that lands out. So for now, it's just assume he's going to make less on his next contract, and part of what teams are going to pitch him, part of what sounds like the Clippers with Bradley Beal are working through is, hey, you're already getting $20 million somewhere else. Like, let's be more reasonable here, because we're not going to give you that much. So
right.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we knocked him out. I
think we did.
Let's you do some more work. You got some more coming.
I've got more stuff to get to. That's
watch
for sure.
Games and pack and get ready to get out there. Love you guys. You guys are hanging out here, with this. That you guys hung out. We'll run into some of you guys in Las Vegas.
Let's go.
Let's go. I know, Trevor, you said you've already seen some people, so
I have.
I hope to see people we'll be around the gym tomorrow. I know you'll be covering the game while it's going on, but before and after, hopefully we'll be around the gym. We've got some meetings and stuff we got to do, but yeah, it's gonna be a fun time, hanging out there. So it'll be great. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you everybody for joining us. And if you happen to be around Vegas tomorrow, come say hi, and Keith will give you a hug.
Yeah. No. Only if you prove you're subscribed to the show.
That's right.
That's the rules. If you have to prove to me you're subscribed to the show, then you get a hug. If you want one too. I'm not just going to start grabbing people and giving them hugs. I'd like to enjoy my time in Vegas, not in a jail cell. So if I end up there, it'll be for
running around hugging everyone.
Yeah, right. I know. Who's this weirdo?
He's screaming front office Friday. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, Baracus says air hug now. Here you go, buddy.
There you go.
Yeah, squeeze.
There you go.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you, and stay safe.